Hello and welcome to my channel, The Day Tradestor. On this channel, I show you the trades that I make every day within my swing trading strategy, whether they are selling or buying. I also show you when I place sell orders on a stock or when I remove sell orders on a stock. And I do this because I am profitable and I want to show people who are thinking about getting into trading that they can be profitable with a simple and somewhat safe strategy. Or those who are not profitable, I can help them become profitable, and they can, again, just like people who are thinking about getting into the industry, they can learn a simple strategy and they can incorporate that into their own strategy. I'm just a regular guy. I'm out here making money, and I want to be able to help others do the same. And taking a look at today's activity of the S&P 500, we opened higher. We gapped up a little bit. Yesterday we closed around, or Friday we closed around 68.38, and we opened around 68.62. So we'll just round it roughly $30, or actually closer to $22. Rough estimate of $22. Since our downturn last week, we've been going up slowly. Since Thursday's close, we gapped up and then we went down for the day on Friday. Just like today, we've gapped up and we're going down today. However, we are up higher further from our lowest point today compared to Friday's, and that itself is a good sign for the bulls. It's a good sign for the market. And depending on what Palantir does this afternoon, it's likely that this red candle might, after the close, can turn into a green candle for the day, at least after hours. Because Palantir is a tech stock, and if they go up, it might pull some other tech stocks up after hours. So the candle itself won't turn green because this candle no longer will not be producing any activity after hours, after market close. Because this particular chart, I do not have extended hours activated. I only have this activated for 9:30 to 4. But if Palantir has a great earnings, we might end up closing the market at 8 o'clock higher than when the actual market closed at 4. And we currently own Palantir. We own 32 shares, and I will be selling half of those later in the video. So one part of the swing trading strategy is we look for stocks to sell. I do have roughly 8 stocks that we received some sell alerts on. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the first one, which is an ETF for copper, CPER. I currently have 20 shares. I'm maxed out on 5 shares for each book. And you can see on Thursday, we had price move down below our fast moving average. However, on Friday, when I was making the video, it looks like I did not make a sale on the copper ETF to sell one book of 5 shares. And that's possibly because when I looked and was making the video, the price was higher than the close on Thursday, which is not a continuation. But we do have confirmation and continuation of the move down. And we are lower than the close of the crossing candle. So I will be hopefully selling one book. And looking up at my wall, no, I will not. The highest price that is still the price that's closest to the current price is $31.98. So I'm more than 70 cents higher of my purchase price over current price. So I will be placing a sell order. So we will find copper over here in the watch list. I need to go to all accounts. Now I should be able to find copper over here. There we are. Looking to sell. This is a Thinkorswim platform, and I'm looking to sell 5 shares. So we'll drop that down to 5. And current price is 30 cents. My purchase price was at $31.98. So I go to the first place digit, which is which is a 3. So 10% of 30 is 3. I add 3 cents to my purchase price, and that will make it $32.01 is my sell order. $32.01 is the sell order for 5 shares for one book that we received a sell alert on this morning due to this cross of price below the fast moving average. Jacob's Solution is the next stock we're going to look at, and that ticker symbol is just the J. So zoom in. So Friday we had cross move below our slow moving average, and it closed, and we have a continuation of that move today. Price is currently lower than the close of this candle, so hopefully we will be selling one book at a profit. And for Jacob's Solutions, one book equals one share. I would max out at 4. I currently have 2. And I will be selling at a profit. So we're looking to sell one at the current price. We'll just drop down to 154.96. And I bought that at 149.35. So we're looking at just rounded up to $5. $5 profit on that sale. Realized gains. Monolithic Power is the next one. That's MPWR. I currently am maxed out with 4 shares. That's one for each book. And with Monolithic Power, we're currently at $985.32. We had price move below both the fast moving and the slow moving average today. We had a significant gap down from Friday's close. They had earnings on Friday, and they were expected to have $3.54 of earnings per share. They actually had a surprise of $4.73 per share, but they must have possibly had a bad forecast for the remainder of the year. So if they did indeed have a bad forecast, then that could be a reason why they're going down. That's the most likely reason, but I don't know. Let me do a quick search. Go into my Google. Why is Monolithic Power going down today? All right. No, they had earnings beat. On both they had an earnings beat, but yes, they did have a underwhelming forecast for Q4. So that is probably the likely reason, and they did have a nice run up. So on top of that, it's probably people taking profits, and I'm going to be one of them. I purchased 1 share of Monolithic Power at $942.52, so we're looking to sell 1, and we're just going to say it's a $40 to $5 profit if it sells at $9.86, and I've got a $45 profit. Next on the list is an ETF, IWM. And this is an ETF that tracks the Russell 2000. And the Russell 2000 tracks 2,000 of the smallest U.S. companies. So it's a largely, strictly a small cap stock ETF. And I currently have 3 shares. And that means I have 3 books because I only have 1 share for each book. So I'll come in here, zoom in. All right, so last Wednesday, we had price move down and cross below our fast moving average, and we show there's a continuing candle, that there's a continuation of that move. However, I do not have a sale registered, so it's possible when I was making the video, price was up here somewhere on the candle, and price was higher than the close of Thursday's candle, or excuse me, Wednesday's candle. So I should have had the opportunity to possibly continue on the idea of selling 1 share of IWM on this cross, but we did not have a continuation move on Friday from Thursday's candle because price was higher. However, I should have actually sold on Friday 1 share of IWM because it's not this candle that's the crossing candle. It is Thursday or Wednesday's candle. So it's possible when I looked at this candle making the video on Friday that I was comparing it to this candle. I might have identified this candle as crossing below the slow moving average, but we actually should have been looking at this candle. So a small error there on my tracking what my prices are doing on this particular stock. At any rate, we clearly do have a downtrend from this move. So since I should have sold here on Friday, which likely was a continuation because on Thursday's candle, price was probably higher, so that's why I don't have a sale here. I'm going to make a sale of 1 book based on this crossing candle, And I'm going to make another sale based on this crossing candle below the slow moving average. So I'm looking to sell 2 shares. Current price is $245.02. And I bought, let's see, IWM, where that is, I have 2 shares that I purchased at $231.37. So I'm looking to sell 2 shares. Come to my active trader, bump that up to 2. Current price is $245.09. So from $245.09 to $231, we'll just say, we'll round it and make $14 per share. So looking at $28 in realized gains. Next on the list is 3M, MMM, simple stock ticker. All right, I currently have 8 shares of 3M. I'm maxed out with 2 shares for each book. Zooming in here. So we had on Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, we had price fall and close below the fast moving average. However, on Thursday and Friday, we did not have continuation of this move. Price on both days was higher than the close of Wednesday's candle, but we now do have confirmation of the price going down, and we might be in a trend for how no one knows. Maybe this might be the last day of the trend and it turns back around. Time will tell. But for now, price is lower than the crossing candle, and I'm looking to sell 1 book on this particular cross. And I cannot sell a book. I will be placing a sell order. The least expensive shares that I purchased was $166.75. Come over to my Thinkorswim watch list, looking to sell 3 shares, 1, 2, 3. And I purchased these at $166.75. So the first place digit in the hundreds place, I take 10% of that, which is 10. And I add 10 to my purchase price, making it $166.85. $166.85. Good until cancel extended hours, confirm and send. And it's supposed to be 2 shares, not 3 shares. Go back and do this again. Sell 2. And 166.85, 166.85. There we go. That's more accurate. Now I do see I have a limit order for 1. I made another mistake, so I need to add 1 to this. This would be for 2 shares. So I need to set my sell order at 171.73 for 1 share. 171.73. That's for 1 share. Good to cancel, confirm, and send. So now we're good. I've got 2 shares. Unless I caught that mistake, I should have looked a little bit more closely. I've got 2 orders. Okay, each one has 1 share. All right, now that makes the complete list for all of the stocks that I received the sell alerts on this morning. I actually would have been able to sell. I did, however, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over 10 stocks that I did receive sell orders also, but the price is already lower than all of these. Checked that this morning, and the price more likely and did not increase, did not raise enough to where I would be able to sell at a profit. These were significantly lower. So I'm going to, on video, just place 2 sell orders on 2 of the stocks, just in case you are watching this video for the first time and you haven't grasped how I create my sell orders and how I calculate my price. These other 2 might be of help. So the first stock I'm going to take a look at is DLocal, which is DLO. I currently have 64 shares. I am maxed out. I usually have 16 shares for each book. I currently have 1 sitting in a sell order. Let's go ahead and zoom in. DLocal is basically a payment processing company for emerging markets. You can see that we had a cross of the moving average, fast moving average on Thursday. And by end of day on Thursday, I clearly had a continuation of that move. However, there is no sell order associated with this candle. So it's possible that when I was making the video, price was up here. And then by the end of the day, it had dropped down. But we clearly have continuation of this candle. Not only that, we had a cross on Friday of the slow moving average, and we have continuation. So we are looking to place 2 sell orders because we have a cross of the fast moving average on one day, and we have a cross of the slow moving average on the following day, and we clearly have continuation of the move. And the sell order, I bought all 48 shares of the 2 sell orders at $15.47. So just find DLO, right click. We are placing 47 shares in a sell order that I bought for $15.47. So the first place digit is a 1, 10% of 10, and that would be $10 is 10 cents. Oops, that's a mistake. Scratch that. I do not count that in dollars. I just count that in numbers. So 1 is in the tens place. So I just take 10% of 10, which is 1. And I add that 1 to my purchase price. And my purchase price was $15.47. So I make that $15.48. $15.48. Good till cancel, and extended hours confirm and send. Again, when I am calculating how much I put on my sell order, I do not calculate in percents of dollars. I calculate in percents of whole numbers. And the calculation is determining how much do I add to my purchase price. So I'm going to do, since I made a mistake on that, I'm going to do 2 more. Meta is the next one. Looking for Meta. I currently have 3 shares, and I would max out at 1 share for each book. So Meta, we clearly are in a downtrend, and we also, not only do we have price that is below the fast moving average or the slow moving average, we have the fast moving average crossed the slow moving average on Friday, and we clearly have a continuation of that move. And when I have the fast moving average crossing and staying below the slow moving average, I look to place everything I have in a sell order or sell at a profit. In this case, it's going to be sell orders. Right, so I found Meta in the watch list, looking to sell, and each sell order that I have to put on will be a separate price. I've got 2 of them purchased at separate price points. So the first one, we're going to come in, we're looking to place 1 sell order for 1 share that I bought for $787.51. So the first place digit is a 7 in the hundreds place. So 10% of 700 is 70. So I add 70 cents to my purchase price. So that would make $787.51. That would make it $788.21. So $788.21 is a sell order on that one. And then the next share, redo that. We're looking to sell 1 share, and I purchased this one at $772.09. So the 7 in the hundreds place, I take 10% of 700. Again, that's 70, and I just add 70 cents to my overall purchase price, making it $772.79. $772.79. Good till cancel, extended hours, confirm and send. So all 3 shares that I have in Meta are now sitting in sell orders. All right, even though that was 2 separate sell orders for 1 share, I said I was going to do it for 2 more shares. So the next one is Riot Platforms. It's a Bitcoin miner. I currently have 64 shares, and I am maxed out on Riot as well, and that's 16 shares for each book. So we're looking to zoom in here, see what we've got going. Now we've got a couple things going on. On Thursday, we had price move down below the fast moving average and the slow moving average on the same day. We clearly had continuation on both of those moves. And we also had the cross of the fast moving average crossing below the slow moving average, which means when we have that cross and on the next continuing candle, we're still below the slow moving average, I look to sell everything at a profit, or I look to put a sell order on everything we have. So in this particular case, all of my purchase of the remaining shares are above the current price. So I'll be placing sell orders. I will be placing 2 sell orders, each of them for 16 shares. I already have 2 of the books sitting here in sell orders ready to go. So I'm going to find Riot, right click in the watch list, brings up that window. We're looking to put on 16 shares. Now I need to see what my purchase prices are here. I purchased at 22.09 cents, 22.04 cents. That's the sell orders. So I am looking at shares that I purchased at $23. So I'm putting a sell order of 16 shares on that I purchased at $23.08. So we go to the first place digit, which is a 20. I take 10% of 20, which is 2, and I add 2 to my purchase price of $22.02 and make it $22.03. Excuse me, 4 cents. $22.04. Until cancel extended hours, confirm and send. Do this again, and this will be the last sell order. Looking to put a sell order for 16 shares. I come to the purchase price. I find out what I purchased that at, and that's at $23.37. The digit in the tens place is 20. 10% of 20 is 2, and I add 2 cents to the purchase price, making it $23.39. $23.39. And that is how I place sell orders, and I figure out my sell order price for every single share that I own when I'm placing a sell order. It doesn't matter how much that I purchased the stock for. Doesn't matter which stock it is. Doesn't matter how quickly or how volatile it is. My sell orders are always 10% of the number in the first place. All right, so all of my sell orders that I could take a look at, I've taken a look at. I've either sold or I've placed sell orders, and all of the sell orders that I made off of video have been added to my list, and you'll see that list later in the video. So right now it's time to take a look at which stocks we have going to earnings. So I come up here, again, this is Thinkorswim, come to Market Watch. We're looking at the calendar. And I'm looking for all of my account positions, and I'm just looking at my earnings. That is the only thing I'm interested in. We have Palantir going to earnings. It is right now 10 minutes after 3. So as we get closer to 4, I will sell half of the shares of Palantir that I own, and that is to de-risk. But we have shares that are going to earnings tomorrow morning, and I want to, if I'm able to sell half of what I own in these shares, then I want to do that. So I have Eaton. Actually, I'll just come in here, and I've got Eaton, Marriott, Shopify, Tap, Uber, Yum, and Zoetis. So I'm going to start taking a look at these on the charts. So we'll come up here. No, before I go to the chart, we'll go ahead and go back to Market Watch, and we're going to hit Visualize. And Visualize gives us a green-red indicator. You can see it looks to be a little bit more red on the day of the S&P 500. These are all the stocks in the S&P 500. There are 11 sectors like information technology, communication services, consumer discretionary, healthcare, energy, utilities, real estate, materials, consumer staples, industrials, and financials. So all of these are our information technology stocks. These right here are communication services. So they're all broken down, and they're in their own separate category and area of the overall table. But we are doing a little bit more down today than we are on the green and going up. So that is what this is called a heat map. I don't like how dark Thinkorswim makes it, and I can't really change the colors to where they're any more vibrant than this unless I have a white screen, a white background, and then that's just opposite of what most of us are used to when we take a look at the heat map. So there's our heat map. So we'll take a look, go back to charts. First one I'm going to take a look at is Eaton, ETN. Now they had some kind of pretty decent news this morning, nothing huge, but still good news. Eaton released the information this morning that they're going to purchase another company, Boyd Thermal, for almost $10 billion. Eaton is a data center company. So they build data centers, then they'll rent the data centers out to companies that use AI, like to Meta or to Amazon or to Apple. So Eaton is a full services data center solutions company. But right now, they're going to earnings tomorrow morning. I only have one share, and when I have one share, if there's a sell order on it, I just cancel it. And that is all that I do. Next on the list is Marriott Hotels, MAR. I currently have 2 shares, and for Marriott, I max out at 4. So I'm looking to place a sell order. Actually, I already have a sell order. I'm looking to cancel one of these sell orders. And we're going to cancel the more expensive of the 2, which is at 304. And the reason I cancel one of the sell orders and I leave one up is just in case Marriott has somewhat of a negative earnings report. Sometimes price spikes up and it may capture this particular sell before it drives back down. And I don't sell completely out of any stock, because if they have a great earnings report and price goes up, then we'll capture that appreciation, those gains. Next stock is Shopify, SHOP. I currently have 6 shares and I max out at 8, so that's 2 shares for each book. So I currently have 3 books. Now, when I only have 3 books instead of 4, I will err on the side of the earnings being good, and I will keep 2 of the books, and I'll only sell 1. If I had 4 books, I would sell 2 books. When I have 3 books, I sell 1 book. And when I have 2 books going into earnings, I sell 1 book. And if I only have 1 book, I keep that. Again, I always want to have books. The only thing I'm doing, I'm de-risking just in case it goes against us. I would rather have half of my shares earning money, if it's good news, than all 4 of the books of shares taking and hitting us in the negative. So by de-risking, that prevents us from having, or me from having, a larger downturn if it is in that particular stock. And it also puts money back into the available funds so I can purchase stocks that I know are going up at this particular time. So when I'm selling books or shares of any stock at earnings, it doesn't matter what the candle is doing, doesn't matter where the fast moving average is in relation to the slow moving average. I'm either selling or placing or removing sell orders on half or of the books that I own at minimum. So since I'm keeping 2 books and selling 1 book, I'm going to be canceling this sell order. And I will be selling right now 2 shares. And the shares that I'm selling, I purchased at $161.35, so we'll say a $12 profit when these sell, roughly. So I'm looking to sell, just 2 shares. And roughly a $12 profit per share, so $24 in realized gains. All right, moving on to TAP. So we have 4 more to look at of the stocks going to earnings, including TAP. Going to TAP. So with TAP, I currently have 8 shares. That's 2 shares for each book, so I'm maxed out. So all I'm going to do is cancel 2 sell orders. Or place, I got to place 2 sell orders. Or 1 sell order for half the shares I have, because all of them were purchased at the same price, $62.47. So I cancel that. And I'm going to be placing for 4 shares a sell order in case price moves up before it goes down, and I purchased them at $62.47. So if 6 is in the tens place, 10% of 60 is 6. So I'm adding 6 cents to $62.47, and that will be $62.53. So $62.53 is the sell order for half of the shares that I own of TAP. Uber is next on the list, UBER. Sure you're familiar with Uber. TAP is the stock ticker for Coors Molson Brewing Company. So for Uber, I currently have 2 shares, and that's only 1 book. I have 2 shares in each book. So all I do is just cancel that and move on to the next one, which is Yum. Yum brand is they own a variety of non-hamburger food restaurants like Taco Bell, So Yum Food Brands, they own like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, again, non-burger style restaurants. So I currently have 3 shares, and that is 3 books, 1 share for each book. And they currently are sitting in all 3 are sitting in sell orders. So we're going to cancel the more expensive of the 3 shares. And then out of these 2 shares, we're going to cancel, well, they're both at the same price. We're going to cancel 1. Remember, the way my strategy works when it comes to earnings, if I have only 3 books of shares for any particular company, I want to keep at least 2 and only get rid of 1. And I'm glad I said that slowly while I was looking at the screen and not looking at my day trading charts, because I want to keep 2 of them, which means I want to cancel. I was misreading this as a limit order. Sorry about that. Thought I was going to make it through this video without making a mistake. If you're watching my videos, you know I make a few mistakes. This was another mistake on this particular video. And those mistakes are because I'm always constantly trying to day trade, and I'm always watching my day trading charts. So I did remove 2 sell orders, and I only have 1. Last stock I have going to earnings tomorrow is Zoetis, ZTS. Zoetis, located here in the US, is the large animal or pet health company. They produce all types of healthcare products, including vaccines for your pets and animals. And ZTS. You want to be on Zoetis. I currently have 4 shares. I'm maxed out with 1 share for each book. Now, we're going to cancel 2 of our sell orders. So I currently have, we're going to cancel the most expensive one. And then out of this, we're going to have to cancel this entire order just so I can place a sell order for 2 shares. So cancel this, come into Zoetis. Again, Thinkorswim, that is the watch list. Looking to sell, we're looking to sell 2 shares. And my price that I purchased Zoetis is $177.47. So go to the first place digit, which is 100. 10% 100 is 10. And I add 10 cents, making it $177.57. $177.57. So I've got 2 shares, $177.57. Good till cancel extended hours. Confirm and send. So now I've got 2 shares, half of my shares sitting in a sell order, and the other half just sitting back waiting for a good turnaround for Zoetis so we can capture those gains. If you're watching my video for the first time, one reason that this swing trading strategy is somewhat a quote-unquote safe strategy is because I try very hard not to sell any shares at a loss. Every sell order that you've seen me place is set with a 10% increase from my purchase price to capture at least that much of a profit. If I'm unable to sell shares at a profit when it is time to sell, I find stocks that I purchased in my accounting and I sell those, and I put sell orders on the other shares that are already higher than the current price that I sold other shares at. And the reason this is quote unquote safe is because I am acting as an investor. I'm not looking to day trade all types of various stocks throughout the day. I day trade, and for purposes of this video, I swing trade. Like for Zoetis, I swing trade my long-term holdings. And since I'm making money this way, I believe that you might be able to make money this way, at least, if you don't incorporate every strategy that I'm showing in my videos, or at least incorporating some of it, I believe you too can be profitable. All right, so that's everything. That's everything on the sell side. That's all my sell orders. That's all the stocks that I could sell at a profit. That's all the stocks that I could place in sell orders or sell also within the earnings. So now it is time to purchase some stocks. And since I have a few stocks that are waiting to be bought in my day trading strategy, I have roughly $3,000 available to purchase stocks that right now are going up. One of the stocks that hit the list this morning that is actually going up for a possible purchase is Uber, but I will not be purchasing Uber since they're going to earnings this afternoon. I'm happy just keeping those 2 shares, so we'll not be purchasing Uber. So move on to JP Morgan. Take a look at JP Morgan. JP Morgan recently had a cross. I currently only have one share, which is one book. They recently had a cross, so that's looking good. We have both indicators of the MACD in an upward trajectory. We have increasing velocity of price on the MACD as well, so that's a good sign. And in the last 3 months, we've had half a point of interest shaved off of interest rates, so that's good for the economy. That's good for banking. More people will be taking loans. And because we recently had this cross of the fast moving average, this is a time in which I like to max out and purchase the full allotted amount of stocks that I've given myself for that particular company. And for JP Morgan, it's 4. So I'm going to be purchasing 3 shares, hopefully at $3.10 So now I am maxed out on JP Morgan. Now, one of the things that I'm not trying to teach you is day trading. I will cancel this because anytime I buy back in, any of the stocks that I purchase are going to be lower than any, like in this particular case, any stocks I already have sitting in a sell order. So I cancel that sell order. I add JP Morgan to my day trading charts to watch. And right now, JP Morgan is actually going down on the 2-minute time frame. This time frame is the daily time frame, meaning that each candle aggregates for the day. However, if I were to look at a 2-minute chart, it would look similar to this. Each candle aggregates every 2 minutes. And on the 2-minute time frame, JP Morgan is going down. So now for my day trading purposes, I will take one of these shares and place it in a sell order at 30 cents higher, making my sell order at $310.37. All right, next on the list is Texas Pacific Land, TPL. That is a energy company, large oil and gas company in Texas. Self-explanatory there. Well, they haven't really done very well. I haven't been actually taking a close look at the charts. I've just been looking at the candles. But most of the charts that we've had today have actually had some period that they've gone up and some period that they've gone down. Over 3 months, this has really just done nothing. It's just gone sideways. But if we zoom in here, if I zoom in on this particular chart, you can see we received the alert this morning because we had price move above both averages. And not only that, we had price of the fast moving average rise above the slow moving average on Friday. So I received an alert on all of these of price moving above and staying above and closing of both the fast moving average and the slow moving average, and the fast moving average crossing above and staying above the slow moving average. But we do not have continuation of this move. It's reversed. So I will not be purchasing TPL. American Express is the next company that I'm taking a look at. See, they had a cross several weeks ago. I just haven't had enough money to buy all back in. Let's zoom in here. I currently have 3 shares. I would be maxed out at 4. That's 1 share for each book. We had price move above and stay above the fast moving average. It closed on Friday, and we do have a clear continuation of that move. So I'm going to buy the last book that will fill us out from this particular cross. So I'm going to buy 1 share. Boop, 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 at $361.85. And if I have a sell order, I cancel that. And I add American Express to my day trading chart, which is already on that. I've already been day trading American Express, so I need to add that one back. Well, actually, I will be adding back at 10% higher than the stock I just purchased. All right, the next one I want to take a look at is an ETF, XLY. And XLY is an ETF for telecommunications. So I currently have 2 shares, and for XLY, I would max out at 4, so that would be 1 share for each book. Zoom in here, see what we have. All right, so we recently had a cross, looks like last week. Got a lot of red candles here. We went down, then we gapped down, but then we gapped back up, and we gapped up again today. Even though we have a red candle, it is higher than the crossing candle, just like this candle was. So if I had had money, I would have bought here, but I didn't have enough money to buy in on Friday on XLY. So we're back here today taking a look at it. So we will purchase, or I will purchase 2 shares, hopefully at $242. And I cancel this once I have a other than outside of my day trading, if I was just strictly swing trading and not doing any day trading, anytime I have a cross of the fast moving average over the slow moving average, and I buy everything back in and I max out on my allotted shares for that particular stock, if there are any sell orders, I would just cancel them. And that's it. I leave that alone. And unfortunately, I made another mistake. XLY is not for telecommunications. It's consumer discretionary. All right, it's now 3:55. I'm going to go ahead and take care of Palantir and sell half of the shares that I own. I currently own 32 shares, and I'm maxed out at 32 shares at 16 shares for each book. So I'm going to be selling, 8 shares. It's 8 shares for each book. I'm going to be selling 16 shares. So come up to 10, pump this up to 16, and I will be selling at a profit because I bought these shares that I'm selling at 8 of them at 188 and another 8 at 180 at 190. So we're looking to sell 16 shares. Exceeds regular buying power. Whoop! Oh, I'm glad I did. That was on the wrong chart. That was on the wrong column. So we're looking to sell 16 shares, not purchase 16 shares. And there we go. Just sold XLY, and we just sold our 16 shares of Palantir. All right, so we're taking a look at the Palantir chart. We're going to zoom in here a little bit. This is the so black. If you are seeing this for the first time, black is normal operating hours from 9:30 to 4, and gray, just as the same as in the morning, gray and in the afternoon is extended hours. So right now, Palantir is going up. And that's not because they've already released their earnings, but they are a little bit volatile. They actually released their earnings at 5 minutes after 4. Now, I recently sold 16 shares because I wanted to get my profit on those just in case Palantir takes a turn down. Now, I did set a buy order for 16 shares, and I set that for $30 lower. So this is set at a purchase price of $170. Sometimes, actually quite frequently, if you watch earnings, price will be very volatile. It can go up 10, 15%, and then immediately in the next second or several seconds or a minute, drop another 15, 20, 30, 40%. So the swings can be massive, especially on a stock like Palantir that's at $200. And the value of the stock actually helps increase the amount of volatility. So a $200 stock would be more volatile than a $100 stock, and a $100 stock would have typically more of a move than a $20 stock. And a $1,000 stock would have, dollar-wise, a much larger move than Palantir or any other $200 or $300 stocks. So a $30 move would actually be a pretty normal thing in a spike, or even if they do get good or bad news for a $200 stock. So just in case there is a huge drop right before the earnings release, if we capture the purchase of 16 shares and price jumps back up, then we'll be a little bit better. If you've watched some of my videos, I've explained that I do not try to predict which direction the stock will go. I've done that, and I've had some success. I've also had some failures. Most of my profits come from my swing trading and day trading and not guessing and predicting which way a stock will move on any given day under any given circumstance. All right, it's 4 minutes after 4. We've got less than a minute, so we'll keep an eye out just for watch to see when we see an immediate spike up or down. That's when the earnings were released. Let's see if I have a countdown. So we're looking at 404. I'm trying to find a countdown. Windows 11 is kind of shitty. They messed up. You used to be able to just click the clock in the bottom right-hand corner and it would pull up a menu on Windows 10 and all the other Windows. But for whatever reason on Windows 11, which I just uploaded or downloaded and updated my computer, I was waiting until the very last moment. So I waited until just last week to update. and the clock I can't pull up. So I'll have to look in to see how I can pull the clock up. It shouldn't be very long, probably less than, and there we go. That's a huge move up. There's a $10 up. Went from $2, 207 to 220, 221. So right now that appears to be good news. Hopefully it'll stay good news and we'll keep making money on the other 16 shares that we own, or that I own. I keep saying we because I'm thinking about my family. I'm not thinking about you, the viewer, and me. I'm thinking about me and my family. But I'll try to stop saying we, because I don't want to give any false idea that these are recommendations to you and that I'm telling you to make the same trades that I'm making. I am not. I'm not an expert. None of this is financial advice. I'm just showing you what I do and what makes me profitable. All right, so the numbers have come up for Palantir. They beat on both their reported earnings per share and their total revenue. And they also beat on earnings per share. So they beat on both sides. So sometimes what I do during earnings, if price somehow falls back down to $208, I might move my buy order up to that, prepared for a larger upward move throughout the rest of the afternoon and into the evening. So I'll going off video here, and I'm going to keep an eye on the price, and we'll see what happens with price. It also could start to go down from investors taking profits. Earnings is it could literally be a gamble. It's hard to predict what the stock is going to do to begin with, and then even after good earnings, it's hard to predict that it'll just continue to go up, because if enough investors start taking profits, then it just starts a trend of sell-off. More and more people, as the price drops because people are taking profits, more and more people will sell and capture those profits before price drops further. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this purchase order up to 210. And if price drops down to 210 and then it goes up for the rest of the afternoon, then I'm back in with all of my with all 4 books, and each having 16 shares. All right, so this would be an example of it might be investors taking profits. Hopefully it's just a short-term thing and it'll turn around, because it triggered. I did move my price down and it did trigger that sell. So then I immediately put that in a sell order. And it looks like it's about to trigger that sell order, so I'll make a little bit of money on that. And then I might just go ahead and put in another purchase order a little bit, back where the price was. All right, so I've got one more stock that I can buy. We recently had a cross of the fast-moving average above the slow-moving average. And it's after it's been down for a couple weeks. And AppLovin is a pretty good stock that's part of the whole AI movement and growth and this new industrial revolution. I currently have $1,500. I currently have 1 share, so I will not be able to max out my AppLovin. I like to max out at 12. So I will be able to at least get 2 more shares to max out this book. I shouldn't have just 1 share of AppLovin. So I made a mistake somewhere and I either just accidentally bought 1 or I sold off 2. I don't know what happened. I don't need to do any research, but I'm going to go ahead and purchase 2 shares of AppLovin. Okay, so I purchased 2 shares of AppLovin. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, since we have on the daily chart. This is the 2-minute chart. Let's go back to our daily chart. You can see we have the fast-moving average is above the slow-moving average, and whenever we have that, I would prefer not to have any sell orders in the swing trading strategy. Any sell order that I have is in a day trading strategy. So I've been a little risky here. I've been gambling. That's pretty much what it is. I've been watching the 2-minute chart and watching the price action. It looks like the bears and the bulls are fighting a little bit each other. The bears are trying to push this down, and investors are trying to decide whether they want to sell out or just hold on to Palantir. Again, if this starts to move down even faster, more and more people will sell. You've got a lot of options also that were against Palantir, so that's part of what's causing this down move since the earnings was released and their high of 222. But what I wanted to show you is, as a day trader, I'm trying to capitalize on this price action between the bears and the bulls. So I'm buying low and selling high, typically within $1 range. You can see that I bought at 208.74, sold at 209, bought at 208.38, sold at 209, bought again at 208.62. So I'm in less than $1 movement, but I am making money. And I still have roughly $340. All of my day trading stocks have been purchased. I've got roughly $340 left to find some other stock to purchase. All right, so Unity Software, we recently, just late last week, we had a fast-moving average cross above the slow-moving average. Even though we have a red candle, we're still above the fast-moving average. We're not down here. So this is a stock that I would love to be able to purchase fully back in when I'm maxed out in Unity Software. It is 32 shares, so that would be 8 shares per book. I currently only have one book, and I could probably only afford one book. So $8, or excuse me, 8 shares times through 37, that would be 56. 24 plus 5 is 296. So I should be able to purchase. I cannot use the active trader. So I'm going to come over here off screen, Unity Software, buying 8. And the current price at will draw $37.50. Let's see if that'll go at $37.50. If not, we'll pull it up a bit. It's not going, so we'll pull this up to $37.55. And we got it at $37.56. All right, that's everything. I am through my buy list now. We're down to $38. Take one more look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart of Palantir, just so you can see how that price action might be happening. So you can see here we are. We're just moving sideways here from 420 to 432. Hopefully the bulls win. I won't mind too much if price goes down from here, and I've got my 16 shares, because if this were to move down, I can sell the other 16 shares at a profit. I did make a little bit of money from these 16 shares from the day trading. However, if people start selling and start taking profits, it can stay down for, months, and then I'd have 16 shares that I actually just had money, $200 a share. I had just roughly little more than $3,000 that I would have been able to use towards stocks that were actually going up if this were to make a downturn. If it goes up, great, then the gamble paid off. And it's really only a gamble in the short term, whether that's days, weeks, or even months. Over the long term, the Palantir, unless they are corrupt and they do something illegal, Palantir is just going to go up over time, and time being years. So I don't mind holding on to it for years, but it would be better if price does continue to go up. That way I'm staying productive with this $3,000, and I just didn't get locked in to this position. So now that I am done with all of my activities on both the sell and the buy side, we'll take a look at everything that I did today. And you'll see that I sold Jacob Solutions, Monolithic Power, the ETF IWM, Shopify, and I did sell 32 shares. I didn't sell 32 shares when I actually sold out. They just added up before the end of day. So I sold 16 shares of Palantir. This is my current position quantity, not what I sold. And then I put sell orders on CPR ETF, IWM ETF, 3M, DLocale, Meta, Riot, TJX, Coca-Cola, Eli Lilly, Microsoft, ServiceNow, L3 Harris, Axon, Teams, Shopify, and Morris Coulson, which is TAP. And we just sold some Palantir. I got to buy back into that right now. In reference to turning sell orders off because we have price moving up, it took them off of Eaton, Marriott, also on tap, Uber because of earnings, Yum Brands, JP Morgan, American Express, and AppLovin, and these are because price turned back around and is going back up. And then I ended up buying JP Morgan, American Express, the ETF XLY, and AppLovin. And if I was able to buy enough to maximize the total allotted shares that I purchased for that stock, I did, but I know I did not do it for AppLovin. And I show you everything that I did for the day on my swing trading strategy to help you have a little bit more information, since I'm looking at charts all day and maybe you don't even have a charting platform. Maybe you don't have time for that. It's at least information. And maybe you've copied some of my trades throughout the past several days or weeks or even months. And if that's the case, then I want to keep you as up to date as I can. And so you're able to possibly copy my trades as we move forward. Remember, if you do choose to copy my trades, I'm not an expert. Nothing I'm giving you is advice or recommendations. But at least you have information that says, hey, I own one of these stocks, and according to the day Tradestor, it looks like it might be a good opportunity to sell. Or on the opposite, hey, I would like to buy some of these stocks. I have enough money to buy JP Morgan, and the day Tradestor, he just bought some, so I think I'm going to buy some too. Again, that's your call. I am not telling you to it. I'm not recommending JP Morgan. I am showing you what I'm doing and what is making me profitable. So that's everything that I did today within my swing trading strategy. Oh, I forgot to add Unity software. So U to the purchase side. Unity software. Now I'm done. All right, so taking a look at the S&P 500 and how we finished the day. We finished the day closing at almost $6,852, still higher than yesterday's close, so keeping the bull run possibility still alive. Looks like we've basically recovered somewhere between 25 and 30% from our high the other day, last Wednesday. But the last 2 days closing higher on red candles over last Thursday. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, Palantir is going down, so it's not really pushing the market up any. It's not pulling any other tech stocks with it, unfortunately. All right, so now we're going to take a look at our chart of the day, which is Micron, MU. And we'll go to our 1 day, 1 minute chart. And we'll reset this to 2 minutes. And expand, and you can see from the close of Friday to the close of today, we're looking at almost 4.9% increase. This price move is in large part due to a variety of analysts increasing the price target for Micron all the way up to $275. So we had a close on Friday of 224 to an open of 233 today. So we're looking at almost a $10 increase from Friday's close to Monday's open. And then from Monday, we are looking at an open of basically 234 and closing basically right around. Let's see what we opened today. We opened at 234.09 and closed on $234.68. So closed roughly $3 lower than the high and roughly 50 cents higher through the day from the open to close. So the majority of the gain was over the weekend. Well, actually over Friday evening and Monday morning. Now, if you're thinking about purchasing Micron based on the analyst expectations and their increased price targets, and just that information, I would hope that you would want a little bit more information. Since I've started trading 3 years ago, the analysts really aren't all that accurate in their predictions. And a lot of analysts, they came out with new price targets today, and that was after the price rise from Friday and pre-market hours Monday morning to this morning, which is also after several weeks of rise. So it's been my experience that when a stock rises for a while, analysts change their predictions, and then when stocks start to fall, then they will change their prediction in a downward direction. I have been trading only 3 years. I don't have a great deal of experience, but I've yet to see any stock analyst predict the direction of move for a stock before that move occurred. Granted, I'm only looking at roughly 200 stocks, but it hasn't happened within my stock portfolio. So just be a little bit leery, take in as much information as you can, and don't just use one piece of data to make any decision when it comes to investing or trading. Take in as much as you can. All right, so we're going to go back to the 3-month 1-day chart. And from here, I will now show you my realized gains for the day and my portfolio performance to Friday afternoon. And today I made 122 trades, almost spending $95,000 as a cost basis for the stocks that I purchased. And my realized gains were $686.80. 100 of that was through the swing trading strategy. The rest are through day trading. And the desire to gain as much money as I can day trading, it leads to a few mistakes during the video. So please forgive me and please forgive those mistakes. I do get the job done enough, hopefully, to keep you interested. If not, if I'm making too many mistakes, say something in the comments, let me know. But overall, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm just trying to show you a simple strategy that you might be able to incorporate into your own trading systems. All right, now my year-to-date performance in the current account that I opened on August 19th is 8.98% compared to the S&P 500 at 6.93. So I'm 2.05% better performance over the S&P 500 in the new account. And in the old account, which all of the funds from this account were transferred to here, I stopped trading in this on August 18th, and my performance to date was 16.26% compared to the S&P 500 at 10.54%. And when we combine the two, my performance is 25.24% compared to the S&P 500 at 17.47%, which means I am performing greater by 7.77% than the S&P 500. So if you made it to the end of the video, you must be getting something out of it. So I hope you click those like, share, and subscribe buttons, and you help me get in front of other people. And please, please share my channel with other people that you know that may not have any type of retirement account, because opening up a retirement account as soon as possible can absolutely change their lives. Thank you very much, and have an absolutely amazing rest of your afternoon.